Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, the Beauty Myth. Learn the beauty secrets of the goddess next door in this action-packed Isis series adventure. Get Isis, the Beauty Myth at online booksellers everywhere today. One of my longtime viewers wanted to know, why do abusive, negative, and toxic parents always say negative things when their adult children are doing positive things and being more successful than their parents? And the answer to that question is very simple. These parents basically are jealous of the fact that you're making efforts to improve yourself. And because you're making these efforts to improve yourself, they fear that you're going to take your power. And if you take your power, they're not going to have any power over you. Now, when it comes to these kinds of abusive, negative, and toxic parents, what they've done over the years is foster a codependent relationship with their children, and in that codependent relationship, they were the ones who had the power and control over their children when they were young. However, as those children started to enter into adolescence and adulthood and started to be in a place where they could be physically able to take power and agency over themselves, this is where these parents start to become extremely nervous and anxious as related to their insecurities about that child having power, and these anxieties and fears have them worrying about this child looking to take their power and possibly leave this codependent relationship and take over their own agency and power as they become their own adult. And because that child is on a road to looking to take their power, which most healthy children do when they become adults, because that's all part of the ability to take care of yourself, is the ability to take your power and be able to have your agency over yourself so that you can be able to take care of yourself. These kind of parents, they know that they won't have that power. So what they do is that because they know that they're no longer physically able to have more power than you are, what they look to do is use their mouth as a weapon. And as they look to use their mouth as a weapon, they look to try to beat a child down into submission with their mouth. And they use abusive words like a fist to continue to hit that child, hoping to do damage to that child's self-esteem, do damage to that child's self-worth, do damage to that child's self-confidence, because they don't want that child using those building blocks to develop their self-confidence and use that self-confidence to go out into the world and achieve and actualize the potential that God wants us to have as related to the abundant life that He wants to provide for us. No, when it comes to these kind of parents, they don't want their children to live the abundant life that Christ wants to bless us with. No, what these parents want to do is, because they are so filled with anger and self-hatred regarding themselves and the child that looks like them, what they want to do is break that child down, destroy that child's self-confidence, and have that child in a place where they are under them as adult children, never ever working towards actualizing their potential. Because if that child actualizes that potential, that's where they fear this child will not only have that success, but have that personal power over themselves, and have that personal power over themselves to take accountability for themselves. And as they take this accountability for themselves, what they fear is that they'll start to take accountability and hold their parents accountable for their actions, because what these parents really fear is their children being on a level playing field as they are when they get older. And they fear their children being on that level playing field because they fear their children having their own personal power, not understanding that it's a parent's job to make it where a child is supposed to be raised to a point where they're supposed to be able to take their own personal agency and take their own personal power and be an adult for themselves. That is the ultimate goal of raising children. But when it comes to dysfunctional parents like this, they don't want to see their child grow up into becoming full adults that actualize their potential to achieve the abundant life that Christ wants to give them. No, they want to see their children stuck in a state of arrested development where they continue to remain under them. And in this case of perpetual adolescence, what they want to do is continue to browbeat and verbally abuse their children, browbeat and verbally abuse their children to the point where they feel like they are worthless, even if they go on to do things like get college degrees, even if they go on to do things like get good jobs. These parents want to be in a place where they feel like they have this power over their children, and want to have this power over their children because they want to continue fostering this abusive and codependent relationship with their children, because they don't have the faith in God for these children to take care of them, and they would rather have these children miserable in their company so that they can again have their power, so that they believe that they can get their needs met. And this really prevents those children from being able to do what God has stated in the Bible as related to honoring your mother and your father, because when you raise a child up right, eventually what they want to do is honor their mother and their father by taking care of their needs, and look to take care of their needs when they get older and are unable to take care of themselves. But these parents, again, don't believe they are worthy of that kind of love. And because they don't believe they are worthy of that kind of love, what they do is, again, look to break down their children. But in the case of someone who has developed and started to see their own self-worth and self-esteem, what kids like this do is basically start to pull away from their parents. And a lot of times they don't want to pull away from their parents. They really love their parents, but their parents' insecurities and self-hatred make it where those children can't really go out here and honor their parents. And because of the dishonorable way that they are behaving, what happens is that those children have to start to pull away from their parents, and pull away from their parents because nobody wants to stay in a place where they're being emotionally, verbally, and in some cases physically abused by a toxic parent. Because toxic people, what they do is, again, attach an emotional hose to you and basically suck the life, energy, and spirit out of you. And as they look to suck the life, energy, and spirit out of you, this basically, again, takes years off a person's life as related to stress. And life is too short to sit there and deal with this type of negative person. They really don't want to see you actualize your potential or see you grow. And they don't want to see you grow, again, because they don't want to see you have more power than they do. But you already have more power than they do, because you see your own self-worth. And in the case of this viewer who sent me this request, you do see your potential. And again, as you're starting to grow and change, the only thing you can do when you're dealing with toxic people like this is you have to cut them out of your life. I mean, this is something I myself had to do in 1987 when I was 13 years old and I was in junior high school. I was being bullied and harassed by people, and again, I had people who I thought were friends turn on me, and I realized that I had to cut people out of my life who were toxic like this, who would go and say negative things towards me. And the only thing you can do if you want to move your life forward is you have to cut these people out of your life. And while it may hurt to cut your parents out of your life, it's something that you have to do, because if you love yourself, there's no choice that you have, because when you're dealing with a toxic person is, again, not going to see your worth or value, because they can't even see the worth in themselves, because a parent who loves their child wants their child to reflect positively on them, but this person doesn't even see the positivity in themselves, so they can't see the good in you. And again, this is going to keep you from being able to actualize your potential. So the only thing you can do is just cut these people out of your life, cut these people away from yourself, and cut off all contact. That's the only thing you can do as related to toxic people, because as you're moving yourself forward, these people are going to become more insecure because they see that there's no way that they continue maintaining that emotional hose that they want to attach to you. They know that they can't continue to maintain their codependent relationship with you because you're taking personal power, and as you take personal power, you're starting to hold them accountable for their behavior and their actions. And as you start to take your power, these people again start to become more and more angry, more and more bitter, and they start to lash out at you But you can't take what they say personally. You have to continue persevering. You have to continue pushing to go for what you want. You have to continue going on and trying to work towards actualizing your potential. And you have to start going out and working with positive people, because positive people will help you get the positive energy that will encourage you to do better, and positive people will help you look to see the good in yourself and will see the good in you. And that's what you have to do, because again, the energy that these people have is just so negative. There's nothing you can really do about these people, but there is something you can do about yourself. And the thing that you can do for yourself is basically walk away from these toxic parents, walk away from their negative comments. Don't even hear their negative comments. Let it go in one ear and out the other, because most of the time they are just, again, jealous that you're going on to work towards improving yourself. And again, a healthy parent, in a lot of cases, they want to see their kids get success. They want to see their kids achieve, because again, when a parent is out here, their children are a reflection of them. And most parents who love their children want to see their children reflect something positive. They want to see their children reflecting success, because that shows how those children are honorable children, and those children will come back to honor them when they get older. This is them reaping what they sowed and bearing good fruit. But some parents, basically, they don't believe that they are worthy of bearing the fruit. So what they do is, because they don't like themselves, is go out here and put seeds in the ground, hoping to get a whole bunch of thorns and briars, not understanding that thorns and briars basically choke everything out, and those tares basically get dug up and thrown into the fire. This is what these parents don't understand, and they will sit there and raise a child hoping to get thorns and briars, not understanding that you're basically creating a child who's going to destroy everything as related to you and not bear any fruit at all. No, these parents basically, again, don't like themselves and don't believe they are deserving of anything. And you can't take their low self-esteem and their low self-worth on you. No, you can't let that be your reflection of them or a reflection of you. You have to strive to do better, strive to persevere, and continue to push. And as you continue to push, yes, you may not have the support of your parents, but you'll have the support of God, and God will put you in the presence of positive people who want to see you do better, positive people who want to see you achieve, positive people who want to see you accomplish things, positive people who will encourage you to do your best, and positive people who can see the best in you. These are the kind of people you want to be around. You want to be around people like this and have those people in your life. And when you get those people in your life, please don't push those people away by expressing the same dysfunction that these people did, because the whole thing is, you deserve to be around good people. You deserve to be around people who want to see the best in you. You deserve to be around people who want to see you be your personal best. That's the kind of people you want in your life. Those are the kind of people who will help you to live an abundant life that Christ wants to give you. And the whole thing is, when you're dealing with toxic and negative people, the only place you can do with those people is to leave them right where you find them. This is something I had to do in 1987 and 1989. As I prayed to God to change my own life. You have to leave these people right where you find them, because they're going nowhere in life. And if you want to go somewhere in life, you have to let these people go. And as you let these people go, you're going to possibly just forget they even exist, because as you're living your life and enjoying your life, you're going to be in a place where you're going to be, again, much better. And it's sad to do this with parents, and again, I know how painful it is. It's hard to do it, but the whole thing is, when you're dealing with toxic people, there's nothing you can do for them, but there's something you can do for you. And the thing you can do for you is, again, cutting these people out of your life, not listening to the things that they say. No, God made you to be better. He made you to do better. He made you to be your best and wants you to be your best. And part of being your best is, again, sometimes you have to forsake mother and father to go be what Christ wants you to be. And sometimes you have to let a parent go if they're out here, again, saying negative things, because, again, this is their jealousy, this is their envy. They fear you having success, and again, they fear you taking power. They fear you taking their power because they are in a place where they were raised to think, oh, if somebody has power, they're going to abuse me. But they don't understand what love is, and because they don't understand what love is, they believe that a person when they get power is going to abuse them. But again, kids who love their parents don't want to abuse them. They want to see themselves be their best because that reflects on their parents, but they also want to honor their parents. And sadly, these kinds of bitter parents who tear down their children don't see this. And the sad part is they don't see it, and they don't see how they're basically working against themselves and working against what God had made as related to making children be fruitful and multiply. They're basically working against God, and they can't see how them working against God basically is them again putting their talent in the ground and looking to destroy their children and looking for them to be destroyed. But you can't allow yourself to be destroyed. No, you can't allow yourself to be destroyed, because if you can see good in you, you can go and achieve and accomplish through that good. You can achieve and accomplish through that good and look to empower yourself and use that power to take yourself to a more positive place where you can actualize your potential and take yourself to the next level. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation for a minimum of $15 to the Cash App to pay me for my time. And if I know something about that subject, or I can give you some advice, or I can do some research on a subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to learn how to break out of these paradigms of failure, you can pick up some of my nonfiction books on the SJS Direct imprint. Like in the case of this viewer, I urge them to pick up books like The Woman Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, or pick up books like The Man Crisis, because these books will help you be able to identify this kind of behavior and break out of this paradigm of behavior that takes people down, and break out of that paradigm and look to actualize your potential and take yourself again to the next level. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.